Good morning, everyone. And thanks a lot, or good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you're at. I keep forgetting Jeremy's in the house here, and I think I can go away from
Good
the
night.
the, the generic intro, yeah. But we're all here and we're ready to rock, guys. It's a Tuesday morning here on Sorare TV. I'm Quinny. I'm joined by Jeremy and Fedo as usual, and we're here to go over the bones of European football over the weekend. We started the Champions League midweek, so maybe there'll be a wee bit of that bleeds into it, but. Welcome to everyone that does join us live. Fist bumps on arrival. Make sure to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And if you're watching this after we've been live, again, thanks for supporting the show. Get involved in the comment section and let us know big takeaways and all that good stuff in between. But yeah, it's been a long week. It feels like, guys, since we got together last week when we were kind of reimagining the show. We had the Premier League, like 500,000 giveaway bonanza thing started off and all the rest of it. But yeah, how are you? What are you up to?
Yeah, good. Trying to look at all the information coming out after that wild game last night, PSG Newcastle. But just before we get to that, I was looking at the weekend and the amount of players for that Premier League. Sorare wasn't as high as I thought it would be. Like it probably is maybe a bit of an opening for whoever thinks they might be able to get in for the next one. I think it was 3,000-4,000 or something like that at the Real level.
Yeah.
No, in the real level, I think it was 700.
Oh, even less. Oh, sorry. So it wasn't.
No, but I think 700 is a good number, to be honest. I don't think it's low numbers, to be honest, because you have to still I think it's a third of Champion Europe entrances. I think Champion Europe Rare has like 2,000 entrances, something like that. So 700 is not a bad number at all. Of course, some people can put multiple teams, but I doubt that a lot of people can put multiple teams. Maybe 10 people have put multiple teams in. So, and you have to still, like, most of the new cards were minted like only 30 times.
Yeah.
So there's not as much around on the market. So you can't actually set so many teams. So I was like, I thought it could have been 1,000, but I think 700 is not as a bad number as everybody's saying it is, to be honest.
I kind of feel that way as well. There's not that many in-season cards, like you say, Feda, to actually go and compose 3 lineups for every manager out there that would possibly wish to do so. So you're kind of limited by that as well. But yeah, like for me, like I said this on my channel regarding it, but if I did have a new season Premier League set of cards before this thing was announced, I don't want there to be a lot of entries. I want this to be an opportunity where I can get a bit of payback for buying expensive cards, sort of thing. So it's all about point of view, I suppose. What did you make of it, Jeremy? Did you get a team into it?
No, I didn't. Like the only 2 Premier League cards that I have is like I want a Tai Chong, which is not going to help me much, and I bought Jar Palinha, thinking that is going to be important for the Euro and also that Christmas break. He's having some good games with Fulham, so just sort of like trying to look ahead. But then I didn't go to get a third one. I think it's 3 right in rare, and that's sort of price going up, so I didn't go. But yeah, I think that's what I like. To the point of what you're saying, I agree. Like only 700 managers. Like if I was two cards away and I knew that my cards were all right, I'd probably like make sure I get that one last card that's necessary to enter, so that you get actually a bang for your buck for that competition. So yeah, I thought it was actually not as prohibitive as I thought it would have been.
The thing is, I think like the only thing that Sorare did a mistake of, I don't know if they made a mistake or not, but the only thing I would have changed with this competition, because I think it's fabulous, I think it's a great idea, I think we need some more like this, 1,000%, is maybe just make the top prizes heavier so that people really are enticed to actually go out, spend the money, and buy the teams to just play. Because if you win 5,000 in a game week, that's a huge price. Like people want to compete for that. Like, don't get me wrong, 1,500 euros is a lot of money, but like there's cards worth more than 1,500 euros. So you rather win also Rare Plus and win those cards basically. So the thing is, you have to have this jackpot lottery feeling in a way, and this is not really given with me. Like for me, like I won, like I had a very good score in a way. My lineup was Dibu Martinez, Pau Torres, Kieran Trippier, Bruno Guimaraes, and Jared Bowen. So Jared Bowen didn't play. I still won 60 euros. So I finished 110th, with one player not even playing.
Yeah.
But you have to say, Pau Torres also scored a 90. Dibu Martinez scored 65 with not having a clean sheet. Bruno Guimaraes scored a 65. And my captain, who was Kieran Trippier, scored a 60. With the captain bonus was also another 90 points. So I had 330 points with only 4 players. But in any other normal competition, I wouldn't have won any card or any prize at all. So I do think it's cool. But as you said, Quinny and I said as well, I think it's just super scarce. And if you just have one Rodri or one Bruno Fernandes, you rather play him in All-Star Plus or in Champion Europe Plus at the moment than play him in this Champion Premier League competition. That's how I see it.
Yeah, particularly for like the rares and the rares and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a nice little like lower threshold as well. So maybe if you just want to grind, you can just
that's
put it there. If you get your $60 for 240 points.
This has been the worst game week I have ever had since I basically joined Sorare. Like, I haven't won shit. Like, this has been so bad, and now it's basically just upwards. It can't get worse than that. And I will make sure that it won't get worse than this. But basically, that's the only thing I won, the €60. And yeah.
I think out of players, when you go into the Sorare data app, it's better on the app than it is on the website, because when you do it on the website, it still shows you common cards.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's us. But when you go into the app and you hit the, what is it, lineups? No. It's at the top where lineups and everything is. You scroll all the way to the side for players, and it gives you your highest scoring players this game week. And on the phone, it doesn't include commons for me. Maybe it's a setting I need to change for the desktop. But in my club, that game week there at the weekend, Fedo, the worst game week ever, my players, I think I've only got like 7 decisives across my players, like all of them or something like that. And Rodrigo was 3 of them. So it was just like, I got no notifications over the weekend. I got no goals. No one got an assist. No freaky last man tackles. Nothing happened. Just like nothing. No assists of any kind. And then 8A alone is not going to win you anything in any division. No. You need decisives to rein in for somebody, So I'm with you there, mate. It was a horrible weekend. And I was reading an article, or it might have been like a long thread. I forget what it was, but it was, it might have been The Athletic. It might have been an Athletic article, but they were talking about somebody did a study of like the soft muscle tissue injuries that have been going on this season. And they're kind of driving it back to the Qatar World Cup, saying like, since the Qatar World Cup, there's all sorts of these mad injuries that are like on the increase. And it does feel like every DM I was getting over the weekend was somebody saying somebody's injured or somebody's, or, there's a lot of that going around now. So yeah, it's been a painful weekend for a lot of people. It feels like no one won again. You get some of those weekends where everyone's complaining. It feels like, did anyone actually win?
Whoever played the who was it, Kawasaki Frontale on Tuesday night, probably are the one that ended up winning. They ended up winning like 5-0 last night at midnight was kickoff or something like that, and all their players scored like madly. I think whoever won champion Asia had a Kawasaki stack, and I think same thing in either Rare Plus, something like that. So some boys were saying that they thought they had it, and then Jong Wong Yoon and whoever is Wakizaka, I think, just took him over.
That last minute,
great.
That's painful when that happens to you.
Yeah. Also, I think
let's
talk
about the real stuff. What happened with the VAR last night?
So I made a video looking at Wolves, right? Because Wolves was the big VAR thing on Monday Night Football. I don't know if he's caught Wolves Fulham. But
no,
I've been following Wolves a little bit this year because the first game of the season I thought they were quite impressive against Man United. And I've got a few other players on Sorare, obviously, as well.
But they're missing Pedro Neto. They're missing Pedro Neto a lot.
Yeah, definitely. But like they've looked decent this year. And so I made a video about them about a week ago or so, and all the Wolves fans were like, Quinny, we've lost so many points to VAR. And I hate talking about refs and VAR when you're like putting the fortunes of a club and going, oh, poor Wolves have lost all these points, right? Because from a coach's perspective, the first thing I always think about when the ref is going against you is like, you have the chance to take the game away from the ref. You score a couple of goals and the ref is pointless then. Mm-hmm. But what happened on Monday night so what happened on Monday night for Wolves, right? I went back, right? This is how much of a psychopath I am. I watched the highlights of every Wolves match this season where they didn't win, right? To see the decisions that they had go against them and whatever. There'll be a video at my channel later today or tomorrow about it. But there's one decision that went against Wolves that was really bad, and it was a penalty. And it was the same kind of thing that happened to Liverpool last night. It's body part to arm, quick deflection. But I think the arm for the Wolves player was quite high. And I said on the video, you'll catch it when it's out, like, I don't see that as a pen, but I'm pretty sure they do talk about, like, I know the whole deflection thing should rule it out being a handball, but I think if they can construe it's involved in a goal potential situation here, then it kind of changes ever so slightly. So with last night, I did have that fresh in my mind because I just went down that Wolves rabbit hole that earlier yesterday, that day. So I really don't know how I feel about it. I'm quite glad that everyone else agrees with me that it is, you should keep it, if it is deflection from body part to arm, regardless of position of the pitch and situation and phase of play and all that nonsense, it shouldn't stand because there's nothing you can do about it. And he is like, it's not a natural position in the sense of what they tell us a natural position is, which is walking about like this all the time, but he is in a natural position. He's running and he's like his leg and his, he's not doing anything. He's not trying to be a goalkeeper or something, is my point, So it's definitely a contentious one. And I agree it's not a penalty, but it depends on what interpretation of the rules you're reading, I think.
There was one in France last year where in the same game, they didn't whistle one because it was body part to arm, and they said, we can't whistle that one. But like 10 minutes later or whatever, the ball went onto someone's chest and he had his hand sort of like here, and then he touched the hand. And there was a big argument because they were like, it's body part and then the hand. But if the hand hadn't been there, a player was in front to be able to sort of like finish. So obviously they had issues doing that. I think last night maybe they take that. They think he touches the body, the hand, and then he should have gone to a Paris forward, but it didn't.
So first of all, I think this was disgraceful. Like at the end of the day, Paris should have scored the equalizer somehow because I think Barcola missed like 5 chances on open goal. But this, I was happy for Newcastle for winning that, and they deserve to win that because they gave their all. And this was never, ever a penalty. This is a disgrace, and I'm sorry, this is a joke. What can Tino Livramento do there? What can he do? It comes to his thing, and then it comes here. It just comes here. It doesn't even fucking touch the hand. Like, it states in the rules, if it touches the body first and then some part of the hand, it's still no pen, because what can you do? Your arm is here. Should he amputate his arm or what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he touched it here. Like, he didn't even touch it with the hand. He touched it with his elbow. That's the craziest part.
I've just realised looking at this that Newcastle made no subs last night.
No, because apparently it's a new fashion because Pep Guardiola
Pep
also
did.
Pep done it against Liverpool. I think he had not a single sub, and Tuchel did the same to Köln. He had not a single sub against Köln. I think it's a new fashion style. If you're happy with your team, you just leave it, and then you wonder why everybody's injured.
But yeah, what Charlie's putting on the chat there, the ref is suspended, both VAR, because of the 8 minutes additional time that apparently they couldn't justify, and then the penalty as well.
This is disgraceful. Like, but the guy from Milan Dortmund, this Turkish guy, I don't know what he saw as well. Like, holy moly! Like, he had also potatoes on his eyes. Like, okay, the first, I was glad he gave the first penalty against Giroud that this man unfortunately missed, but that was no penalty as well. Like, what can Schlotterbeck do there? Like,
I've not seen the AC game.
Yeah, but this is not as important. But this Tino Livramento pen is a disgrace, and I understand that some Newcastle players were really angry about it, and I think Joey Lilton said something at the end of the match to Mbappé, because Mbappé was super aggressive, really wanted to attack Joey Lilton. I don't know if you saw that, basically, that was crazy. I think Sven Botman just posted a black background, basically, and just what a joke and a clown face, nothing else. So
Yeah.
this is really a joke. Like for all, and I'm no Newcastle fan, by no means, and I don't hate PSG like Jeremy does, but this was no pen, never. If that is a pen, you can't do anything in the box anymore. Like,
Yeah. All bets are off now, isn't it? I thought Big Pope was brilliant last night as well, but he was. I thought before the game, and again, I hate sounding like a broken record, but I had a video on the channel earlier that day as well. Like looking at Anthony Gordon, I thought he looked brilliant last night, and I think his form. He was amazing as Chelsea, obviously, but I think he's just been improving all season long, and he was. He looked the part as well. But I think like the whole thing with Newcastle, like Monkey's making a comment there saying the bench wasn't offering them much to make any subs. But like, what a set of heroes that have been out there, for 90, 100 minutes, whatever it's been, no subs and they made it go. And you need somebody like Pope in this situation, like a real keeper, a guy that will make shots, will make saves. Look at that, 5 from inside the box, 6 overall, a good high claim, diving save as well. Busy boy. And yeah, Barcola was pretty rubbish. A few of the chances he had, I thought he's been hanging out with Mbappe quite a bit, quite obviously, but he's not. He's like B-Tech Mbappe or Wish Mbappe or whatever you want to call it.
Luis Enrique is pretty was highly criticized after the game for his subs, because when you get Barcola in, I think it's at the hour mark or maybe 78th minute, that means you're pushing Mbappe to be number 9 between Barcola and Dembele. So when you're playing against a Newcastle who's like, it's not parking the bus, but it's definitely at least holding the fort, and then trying to go on counter attack, you can't really enjoy Mbappe's speed. Now you don't have anybody who's just hanging out in the box like you could have had if you get Gonzalo Ramos involved early. And then what you do is putting more pressure per se on Barcola, because Mbappe is going to be here to be the last passer. And Mbappe has done a couple of brilliant passes on Barcola yesterday. But it's putting pressure on a 17-year-old or 18-year-old, I can't remember how old Barcola is, who's only really touching what the high level is. And obviously he had shaky legs, like the one that he had the opportunity right in front of Pope and just put it off target. Isn't something that he would do, against a Clermont or a Montpellier when he plays in Liga, because the kid's talented, but it's obviously a big stage. So Luis Enrique is quite criticized for that and for not playing Vitinha as well. Kanginli has been very good for PSG, but Vitinha definitely has a bit of that extra touch. Like he missed a little bit of creativity in the midfield last night, I reckon. PSG. So yeah, they're talking quite a bit of Barcola coming in and like too early for a player of his talent but age to get involved in those games. And they're lucky they got the draw at the end. But otherwise, it would have been the first time in the Qatari era that PSG wasn't master of their destiny at the last game of the group stage, and obviously that would have been like pretty poor for Luis Enrique.
Imagine Newcastle did get the win. It would just put, they really put PSG on the back seat, for finishing the top 2. It would have been a real sliding doors moment. So, yeah, I think they'll be definitely counting their blushes.
How far from the predictions that you had made, Quinny? You had Milan 4, right?
Milan 4, Newcastle in 3rd on 7 points. They are currently on 7 points. So, last game of the group, Milan versus Newcastle. Newcastle could be finishing this group with 10 points. And depending on how the Dortmund PSG... What?
And they're on 5? I think PSG is on 7?
Let me double check. I might be...
Yeah.
It's early in the morning.
PSG 7, Newcastle and Milan 5 each.
5 each. Oh, so they are. So
the
where
crazy
did I
thing
think...
is, I have to give kudos to Dortmund. They did a brilliant job, to be honest. I have to give kudos to them. I've never thought that they would do this great, especially if you watch them playing in the Bundesliga. But they did really great, and kudos to Terzic, and congratulations for making the group stage.
Yeah, Dortmund have been all over the shop this year, haven't they? But I think in Europe, like when I seen the group stage draw,
sorry, one thing. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I have to give one shout out to one player in specific. He's Mats Hummels. This man is still world class. It's unbelievable how good this player is, and very big reason why Germany won the World Cup in 2014 is this man. He's absolutely world class. He's been one of my favorite defenders ever Of course, he's from Munich. He came back to Munich, then got back to Dortmund. It's fine. I forgive him. It's fine. But he's a world-class player, and it shows you that, especially players like him who are not dependent on speed, they can still be world-class at a certain age, which is unbelievable to see, and I'm very happy for him. Especially because the last 2 years, he hasn't been as great, but this year he has stepped up immensely. And yeah, he was thinking about doing a career to end his career, but at this moment, he's the most important guy at Borussia Dortmund.
I think that kind of veteran centre back is something that a lot of teams, need in their defences these days. We see other teams we normally feature on this show kind of fail to do it with. I don't know if you would call Thiago Silva at Chelsea a failure. I don't think he's been a success. Varane at Man United's probably not been that much of a success. But Hummels,
but Varane is not a veteran in a way. You know what I mean? He came.
Of course, he is. World Cup winner, 5 Champions Leagues. Come on.
But he's 27. When he went to Manchester United, he was 27.
Varane?
Don't forget that. Yes. He's still 30. Varane is not old, brother.
Because he started when he was 16.
Yeah.
He wasn't 27 when he went to Man United, was he?
He was 27.
When did he go to Man United? 196.
27 and a half.
27 and a half? Bro, he was 27. He was no veteran at 27. I'm sorry, bro.
Fair. Okay.
He had been
but still, at 27, 5 Champions Leagues, World Cup, blah, blah, blah. Come on. Can't say he's not a veteran.
But his style of playing has 10 years of football in him. And he started with 17, so 27 was his expiry date.
Fair. Yeah. We've spoken about this on Varane before. And I think Hummels was maybe, that kind of expiration date. There was a bit of talk about, with Hummels, like you say, it wasn't just coming from him, but it was also the club as well. Like, can you keep relying on Hummels? Now, I do think, having not watched the game, on the face of it, Hummels versus Giroud is probably one of the better games Hummels is going to have versus, like, maybe Hummels against, Kane or whatever.
I'm excited to see Hummels against Boniface this weekend.
Ooh, okay.
If he can get that step up, I still believe he's world class, and I still believe he should be called up for the national team.
Yeah, big call. And there's some really, just looking at the game now, really big scores in the Dortmund team here. Sabitzer on an 84, Adeyemi off the bench with a 72, Bensebaini 66 as well. There's a lot of...
He wasn't good at ball. That's an inflated Sorare score. He was one of the worst on the pitch, to be honest.
Still big scores, 5 tackles, wow. 4 effective clearances, 4 positive duels, 2 interceptions. Busy boy on the left-hand side there.
Chukwueze did whatever he wanted with Bensebaini. That was the only weak link, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fair. Okay. Jules 1,
but
net 0.
Milan, they crumbled completely after they lost Chao. After we lost Chao, we got in a very bad momentum, and we had no centre back. Krunic had to play as a centre back. Krunic is not a centre back. Yes, because we don't have any centre. The whole Milan squad is injured. That's the biggest problem. Rafael Leao is also injured. Giroud was injured. They gave him so many medicine that he could play this game, basically. Everybody's injured. That's why we had to play Kamada, because if not, you wouldn't take up a 15-year-old kid out of the academy, because we have no players left. Kier is injured. Tief is injured now. I don't know who's going to play defense now. Probably some guy from the youth. Maybe that's good because we give somebody a chance. But Tief is out with hamstring at least for 6 weeks now. Kier, I think, is out another 3 weeks as well. Who do you play?
Kalulu, is he still injured?
Yeah, he's injured as well. Kalulu's injured as well. Maybe Marco Pellegrino, who is a very good defender. I think he's going to get the chance on Saturday. And it's bad because you have to play tomorrow, and he needs a break because he plays all the time.
What about Franco Baresi or Costa Curta? Do you think they'll play them?
I would love that. I would love that, Quinny. We wouldn't have lost with them. Let's say that.
You fired Maldini, unfortunately.
Yeah, no Maldini yet. No Maldini. Oh, Pellegrino, there's the man you mentioned.
Maldini could have played, probably. Maldini could have played for 3 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. If Hummels is still playing, I'd give Maldini a pair of boots. No problem at all. Yeah, fair enough. David Taylor, no problem. I see you watched Chelsea more than me, so it's hard to judge. But I know he had a bright spell when he first went, but just anyway, thanks for
He won the
keeping it.
Champions League like the first 6 months, right?
Of
PSG get rid
course,
of him. Then he goes to Chelsea and he was Champions League straight away just to
with Tuchel.
make
But
sure. Fedo, just because you say that I hate PSG, I'll give you something about last night. Everybody's talking about the pens, but a mate of mine who's in Paris texted me like I want to say 66 seconds after the full time, just because he knew what I was going to say, and he sent me the stats of the game, and I got them out there. It was 82% possession for Paris,
Yeah. That's what I
17
said.
shots, 7 big chances, 2.86 expected goal, where Newcastle had 0.05 expected goal, 393 passes for PSG, 62 for Newcastle. It was obviously like utter domination from PSG, but it's so good.
That's what I said as well, my friend. I think it is deserved that they at least got the draw because they played them
on the game.
They played them out of the stadium basically. But Newcastle fought like lions, and it's just a pity that you have to give it a draw like this. As I said, Barcola had to do 4 goals basically. 4 goals. He had
Mbappe
4 goals.
missed his one as well, and
yeah, Mbappe as well. But he scored a nice pen. Like nobody would have saved that.
yeah, I think another thing we were chatting about as well before coming on.
Jeremy. Yeah, sorry.
It was we had Bayern on the Friday night, so we knew PSG were playing Friday night against Monaco. We were not really touched on the Monaco game, but it was very emphatic for PSG. I thought PSG could have scored a few goals coming into this game because Dembele and Mbappe Friday night looked pretty hot to trot. Playing Friday night, wee bit of a break, could have worked out good for them. But the other team we had playing last Friday night, again we referenced them, they made no subs, but was Bayern Munich away to Cologne. I watched this game. I don't think you did, Jeremy. I think you were in Paris that night, and I think. Fedo, you watched this game as well, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Same thing. What happened to Barcola there? I think Leroy Sané had 4 goals on his left foot, right foot. Sorry, and he should have scored. But what a player he is, and what a synergy he has with Kane. I think Bayern just did the job. I think they could have gone for more. They didn't want to go for more, to be honest. They just wanted to get the job done. And impressive how stable they looked. Like there was only like 2 counterattacks where Cologne could have had the chance to score. Oh, nice! The balloons are back. And Neuer did great again. Neuer, by the way, just signed a new contract until 2025. So that's a big news also for us.
And Ulreich. I've seen both of them in the picture.
Ulreich as well, yeah. But I think it's a duo. I think they just are perfect together. Ulreich is a perfect number 2. He's happy with being a perfect number 2, and he's good enough if he's needed, basically. Ulreich did a good job when Neuer was gone at the beginning of the season, like for real. Like it wasn't his fault. It's more our defense. But I have to give credits to Dayo Upamecano. He's playing on a different level this season, and he's not making any mistakes till now. Let's see if they are coming or not. And he's definitely the leader in the defense. And when he plays, the Bayern defense looks a lot more stable. And I also have to give credits to Mazraoui. I think he's stepped up a lot since last season, and he deserves to be a starter in this squad. The problem is Lima deserves to be also a starter, and you also have Alphonso Davies, who played immense. He didn't play really good on Sorare, but like in real life, what Davies did is really what Tuchel wants him to do, basically, and is very happy with him. So it's going to be very interesting. But Davies is going to be interesting as well because Bayern has the same conundrum that they always have, that they might lose one of their star players out for free because they don't want to prolong the contract and they can't really sell them. So this is going to be a new saga incoming for Alphonso Davies. Same what happened to David Alaba, and probably the same outcome that Alphonso Davies will actually join Real Madrid.
Yeah, it feels like that writing's been on the wall. And I think from watching this game as well, like what I found really interesting with Mazraoui and Lima is they swap sides like 2 or 3 times in the match, like the fullbacks were swapping sides and they were just really, it felt like a snake kind of like wrapping themselves around Cologne. They just like squeezed them the whole game, and they would swap their fullbacks, which, Madrawi is a fullback, Lima is not, but they were just trying to put Lima whatever side of the pitch they wanted them. And if you see the goal, by the way, what an interception from Lima to turn the play over.
Yes.
Like Cologne are on edge of the box, and Lima is just in there like a dug, gets the ball, plays a first-time pass to whoever it is that gets the assist. Yeah, Sané, and then
to
attack from there.
Sané played an amazing through ball to Choupo-Moting. I think Choupo-Moting then shot it on goal. The goalkeeper kept it, and Kane was just right where he is always and just scored. Boom.
Yeah.
That's why nobody has the assist, by the way. But that was a crazy, crazy assist from Lima to Sané, and Sané to Choupo-Moting was equally as crazy. Unfortunately, Choupo didn't convert it, because if not, Sané would have had the assist.
Yeah. I forgot the Choupo-Moting element of all that.
Choupo was actually good, but it's also
Cologne. It was okay, yeah.
You can't give him too much credit, because it is Cologne at the end of the day, and they are in a big, big crisis. Like, I think they're last, to be honest. Like, I don't think they're last. I think Union Berlin is last, but at least they are on the relegation.
Yeah, they're kind of getting out of it. So the Bayern team's pretty threadbare. The predicted 11 for tonight has Goretzka starting at centre-back to give Kim Min-jae a break, I believe.
Yes.
So there's going to be a bit of rotation in this team. Thomas Tuchel and all that have spoke about how they don't want to rotate too much. They don't want to take Copenhagen too lightly, but they are like job done kind of thing. They're focusing on the league.
I think even if they lose the next 2 games, they still be first. It's unbelievable. Yeah. I think they have 12 points, and the second has 4 points. You know what I mean? Yeah. So of course, he has to say it in front of the press and the media, but I can already tell you how it's going to look like. It's going to be Goretzka and Upamecano. Then Matistel is going to play for Leroy Sané. Gnabry is going to play for Coman. And Müller is going to play for Choupo-Moting. Müller is going to start for sure. Like, if he doesn't give him this game, Müller should definitely just leave the club, like, for real.
There's a problem, isn't there?
Yes. If he doesn't give him even that game, like, there's a problem between him and Müller, Tuchel and Müller, because then clearly he doesn't respect him. And because you can give him a home game against Copenhagen if anything on the line anyway. So Tell is for sure gonna start, because he needs the minutes in the legs as well. Leroy needs a break anyways, and he deserves a break. Kane is this type of player that doesn't run as much anyways. He's just a super intelligent player, so he doesn't need to be rested in a way, because Coman and Leroy are doing the running for him, basically. So and then on the weekend we have Union Berlin also at home, which is amazing. You don't have to travel anything, so that's great. And Union at the moment is the biggest mess ever.
Yep.
And probably they're going to go down to the second division. Definitely.
Yeah, they were about to appoint Raul as their manager, and then they've appointed somebody else. I forget who it was that got the job in the end. But
yeah,
they've got Thursday night action, and I think their European campaign is like hanging by a thread. So if they lose or they don't get a good result Thursday, then you're going to go play Bayern at the weekend. It's probably a good fixture for Tuchel and the boys, certainly. Yeah, that kind of brings us into the Bundesliga title race, and probably the team that we're all enjoying watching is Leverkusen this year. So this weekend, am I right in thinking it's Leverkusen and Dortmund?
Yeah, it's Leverkusen Dortmund. Yes, big game, big game. Especially Dortmund at the moment is scoring a lot of goals. Same with Leverkusen. So this could easily be a 4-3.
And the weekend we had Frimpong on 89.9 and we had Grimaldo on 83.4. So it was a Frimpong mad weekend.
Yeah, Boniface and Wirtz didn't do as much. Wirtz seems to be having a bit of knocks. So I think he's certainly out for the midweek. So whoever played him against Häcken, he's out. And they're trying to do everything that basically he can play against Dortmund.
Yeah. I think I've noticed this season, whenever he has went away for international duty, it's like that extra workload I don't think he's coping well with. But when it is just domestic football and Xabi Alonso's got him in that little rotation pattern, it's genuinely when we see these scores do a bit better for him. Let's see if it's as obvious when we look at the scores.
Yeah, it's incredible how this squad plays. But I think the 2 best players in this squad, like everybody's looking at Wirtz and Boniface. if you look at the underlying stats and how important they are for the game and what they are doing for how Leverkusen is playing, I think that the two most important players are Ezequiel Palacios and Granit Xhaka. What they are doing at the moment for Leverkusen is unbelievable. And you can give kudos to Grimaldo as well, because nobody would have thought he would have been that great coming from Benfica to playing just Portuguese league his whole life, basically now playing in Bundesliga.
Yeah, he's doing fantastic. He's had a big step up. And I didn't realise until looking at the team that Andrik started this one. So
yeah, because Tar was on a yellow card, so not no way he's gonna get another yellow card to get then suspended against Dortmund. So that's what he thought about.
And I don't think many people would have known Hinchapi was going to start, although he does have a lot of admirers. Huge score from him, nice assist as well. If anyone wants to go and check it out,
crazy player. I really like him. I think if he goes to Serie A, he can go become a world-class player, or to Liga.
Interesting. Are you saying Liga because last week Jeremy was telling us how amazing France is for defending?
No, I agree with Jeremy. I agree with Jeremy. France is amazing. Like there's most of teams just play for a 0 to just don't concede.
Fair.
That's true. We're in the golden generation of defenders right now, so we take it every 20 years, and then we win the World Cup when that happens. So we'll keep it.
Yeah, but defenses always win the title, not attacks. Always defense. Defense wins the league every time. Ask Max Allegri.
I'm trying to find a counter example where the attack won. Maybe World Cup 2002.
Maybe.
By the way,
what about Leicester? What about Leicester's league? Would we say it was Robert Hoof and Wes Morgan, or would we say it's Vardy and Mahrez?
No, I think it was Robert Hoof and Kante.
Yeah, I'm going for Robert Hoof.
Yeah,
fair.
And that was more on the defensive part than on the. Of course, you had to have the goal scorer like Vardy, but Hoof and Kante and Fuchs, holy moly, they played on another, and Schmeichel, they played on another level this season.
It's just the first example that sprung to mind. I thought I'd throw that at you. Yeah, for sure.
No,
but
talking about very quick about Serie A, because we haven't talked about Serie A except for Milan. I was very happy yesterday that I saw that Tati was starting the game against Celtic, because I thought he deserved a chance, but I was quite disappointed. I watched the game. I think Tati did miserably. He was awful yesterday. And but I watched a bit of the highlights, obviously, of Inter versus Juve. If you look at this Juve squad, unbelievable if that you could imagine this is a Juventus squad. Like, this is hilarious. Like, look at this squad. This is not a Juventus squad, except the attack, maybe. And except the attack and the goalkeeper, this is not a Juventus squad. You know what I mean? And they somehow got the 1-1 against Inter, which is a big result for them, because I regard Inter as top 4 in Europe at the moment. And big result for Juve. Very important.
Did you watch Napoli, Fedo?
No, I didn't watch Napoli, but Mazzari. Yeah.
Apparently, Kvara, when he scores or got the assist, I can't remember. He went and fully hugged Mazzari or kissed Mazzari or whatever, just to make sure that.
Oh, nice.
He wasn't happy with the former coach.
Yeah, Osimhen, yeah. And I think Osimhen is going to start as well. They're playing tonight against Real. I'm going to watch that game, because Bayern Munich against Copenhagen, I don't really need to watch that game. No. Even if I love Bayern, you know?
I don't think anyone needs to watch that game.
No,
we're maybe cursing it into being entertaining now, but...
Yeah, but Napoli Real, I'm excited to see Mazzari play against Real. It's gonna be either a bloodbath or it's gonna be a 2-0.
Yeah.
I caught the through yet. Sorry, go ahead.
No, when you go, Jeremy.
And then on the weekend,
I was wondering I thought they were both through Real Madrid and Napoli, but no, Napoli is only 4 points away from Braga. They're kind of through.
Yeah. On the weekend, Napoli plays against Inter, so important games for Mazzari.
What did you make of the Mazzari appointment? Because one of the first things he's quoted as in the press conference is saying, this is a new Mazzari, and I could sleep all day and I'm not going to be like this and I'm not going to be like that. It just feels like, we spoke about Marseille and Marcelino not wanting to be Di Laurentiis's or Longoria's man or anything like that. But Mazzari is coming into the press conference and basically pulling his pants down, isn't he? And going, "Oh, I've done everything I can to get this job, and I'm going to do everything I can to stay in the job." Basically, isn't he? It's not the commanding manager figure that maybe it used to be, or you would expect in this situation.
I think he just wanted to have a last gig before he goes into oblivion, because nobody really needs him. Nobody really needs him. And for having a last gig at Napoli, you don't live bad in Napoli. Trust me. So it's not the worst gig to have as a coach.
I can imagine. Fair
and
enough.
especially if De Laurenti, especially if you kiss De Laurenti's ass, sorry for the expression, but it is what it is. You have an easy life in Napoli. Let's say that.
Yeah, maybe that's the tactic to take then to get some success at Napoli, as be the yes man for the chairman. But
I think it's also like, if you're De Laurentiis, Quinny, if you're De Laurentiis, if we have to give him a little bit of credit in all the midst of his chaos,
we have to.
If you're going away from Luigi Garcia, who is like the general in the locker room and who is the mister and the coach that probably isn't nice enough with the player and just want to get the job done, you want to go for somebody who's going to accept to be a little bit more in French we say the hug therapy kind of coach, and somebody who knows that they're coming into a team that has the talent but somehow not the confidence anymore and need to accept to just be nice and do whatever the president and the player says. So maybe that's also why he picked him over a Tudor or whoever else was available.
Yeah, the thing is, Mazzari, it's definitely an intermittent situation. I think Tudor would have been a great fit. I think the best fit for Napoli, like for real, I think that would have been an amazing coach for Napoli, also to start the dynasty, is Gallardo, but he went to Al Ittihad. He would have been amazing for Napoli. But of course, if you go to Al Ittihad, and I think he earns 20 million now, of course you're not going to Napoli. You know what I mean?
It's funny what they've done in Saudi Arabia with some of the coaches. Like Gallardo, like I was very surprised he'd done that. But I recently remembered or seen, I'm pretty sure one of the Saudi Arabian teams hired the Salzburg manager. A little bit. Like the little young
Gallardo,
Salzburg manager.
I think the highest paid he was at Riva is when he won Copa Libertadores. I think he made 2 million. And if you go from 2 million to 20 million, you don't care where you play or where you do. You know what I mean? Especially
he was like hovering around Europe, and he was like kind of linked to some jobs, and you think, oh, he's holding out for something. You know, he's holding out for a job here, and then he's not. He's holding out for money.
He would have been perfect for Napoli, but De Laurentiis probably would have given him 5, and 5 in comparison to 20. You do 2 years of 20. You set your whole family for the next 3 generations in Argentina, and then you do whatever you want in Europe, basically.
Yeah, fair.
Because for Gaffers, like for him, I understand. Sorry for interrupting. For him, I understand it more than, for example, like a player, because he's a coach. He has not kind of an expiration date. He can't just play until 35 and then his legs are done and everything. He can just go on until 70, basically. So he could just get the big bag in and then do whatever he wants. That's what I feel he's trying to do, probably. Or he thinks he can really have a project, which I also believe, because they're putting so much money in there, so that maybe in 5 years, the Saudi League is the most important league in the world.
Whenever I've spoke about it, I think the main angle with the whole Saudi stuff is we're going to see it. We're going to see it now when Man City go and play it, but you're going to see much more of a emphasis and much more of a push, and it's going to be easier to watch the Club World Cup like as time goes on. And I think that's, you get the clickbait articles like, oh, UEFA might invite Al Nasser and all that nonsense, which won't ever happen. But what these teams know they can get into is some sort of reformatted Club World Cup that FIFA want to get their fingers in the pie on, the UEFA TV money. So, like I say, I didn't realise until the weekend, but I came across it. Or, the Salzburg manager that replaced Jesse Marsch, Geisley or something. He's out there, so they're spending some money in some of the other areas. It's not just players. So,
but
kind of whatever.
For him, they were happy he left. Nobody liked him at Salzburg.
Oh, really? Okay.
Nobody.
But with the Tudor thing, again, I seen a report on this that Tudor wanted like an 18 to 24 month contract, and Napoli only wanted to dish out 6 months right now. They didn't want to sign anyone. So I guess TBC on how long we see Sorare around, and really what that means in the summer, because the links for Osman don't go away, and links for Kvaratskhelia probably won't go away either. So especially if they don't have that good a year, if they don't get top 4 this year, or they don't want to, they don't do anything, it'll be really hard to keep some of their better players. So Napoli's maybe one to watch out for this year, see how they do and how they kind of progress.
Have you heard that Insigne might go to Sarri, to Lazio?
No way.
Yeah.
That would be amazing for Lazio. Insigne and Immobile.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Because he just wants out of Toronto. He just wants out of MLS.
That would be a great move for both of them, I think, because I've watched Lazio at close quarters against Celtic now, and watched them a few times this season, but we're kind of getting on to Castellanos earlier and some other bits and pieces. Yeah. But whenever you do watch Lazio, like Pedro is having a bit of a Indian summer of his career, and Felipe Anderson is still Felipe Anderson. This whole left-hand side of the pitch between Pedro and Felipe Anderson, it's not Champions League level. Yeah. They're decent in that. Like Pedro scored against us, he comes off the bench, whatever. But it's not top level. Isaacson really impressed me against Celtic, but again, it's Celtic. It's not like Juventus or something. So I think somebody like Insigne really levels up this attack in a big way.
Yeah, could work. Isaacson did great. I think he needs to sharpen up a lot, but I think he was certainly the man of the match before Ciro Immobile came onto the pitch, basically.
Yeah, agreed.
But so big Ciro, wow! I was happy. Like, of course, against Chelsea, but. Celtic, sorry, but Big Ciro, what a night he had, like for real.
It was storybook stuff, wasn't it? Off the bench. And the first goal is a proper Immobile goal because it's just positioning. The ball deflects off a defender and he's just first one to it to get on the end of it. So it's sort of on the receiving end, but that's what his quality is, It's that predator instinct.
I have to say one thing. Every time I see Stadio Olimpico, nearly full, it's amazing. It looks amazing. Like, the problem is that Stadio Olimpico is so big that it's so hard to get it full. But if it's nearly full, like, I think it's one of the greatest stadiums to be in and to actually go watch football.
Yeah, I'd love to go to the Olimpico, but I definitely wouldn't be going as an away fan. It doesn't feel like an experience I want to be a part of. I'd rather masquerade as a home fan or a neutral or something, Same if I was going to Paris, by all accounts, as well. Newcastle fans have not had a good time over there. Travel safe, anyone that's out there, and all the rest of it. Is there anything else across Europe, either last night or over the weekend, that we would want to bring up? I feel that we've not really spoke much about beyond PSG. We've not mentioned anything in France or in Spain, really, or really in England. We've mentioned, I think, a wee bit of Man United, Newcastle here or there, but not much. Was there anything else you guys wanted to bring up or go through?
I don't know, but does it feel to me like that Spain is getting more and more not interesting anymore? Like La Liga, I feel like when I was growing up, obviously they had Messi and Ronaldo. Everybody was just looking La Liga. Nobody really looked at Premier League or whatever. But now I barely check Spanish teams. I barely watch a La Liga game. Like, I just watch a Clásico basically, and maybe Madrid derby. But other than that, I haven't watched a single La Liga game. I know you love Girona and everything. I understand that, but like from prestige, I feel like Spain is losing so much. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think Bellingham's pretty much the only prestige player in the league at the moment. Felix is kind of pretending. Lewandowski's over the hill in this regard, along with Kroos and Modric. Vinny is kind of getting on a bit, isn't he? In terms of he's trying to get there, he's getting on, he's moving. He's not there, but I don't think in terms of prestige, I think you're quite right, yeah. It's definitely not got the same kind of glamour, but I think that a lot of the clubs are much stronger. But I don't think it's, there's no, you don't look at the table and go, oh yeah, he plays for him, and Griezmann's at Atletico or whatever, but it's not the same. Yeah.
I also feel like you don't see as many highlights anymore on Instagram or whatever, or you don't, or in talk shows or whatever. Like, okay, it's Spain. Okay, I don't even I know if I would not play Sorare, I probably would not know who is top of the league in Spain at the moment.
Yeah, fair.
And Tebas has been doing since he joined as well. Like he's tried to actually control all the clubs financially, etc. So maybe the counterpart of doing this is obviously you're going to have a little bit less attractivity. Sorry, but I think it's definitely on the PR, etc. They are doing a bit of a bad job considering who they have. But then again, like who do you push? It's Bellingham and Griezmann, the two best players in the league right now. And if you don't push them, you have to push either Girona or Real Sociedad, who are probably the two like best team to watch because of the football they play. But nobody really cares about teams these days anymore. Everybody just wants to see highlights and individualities. So it's hard to push, because I think it's probably like one of the most fun year for La Liga, because you don't see Real Madrid and Barcelona just flying away with the title race. You have 2-3 clubs that are still holding on to them. So if anything, it's probably better, I reckon.
Yeah, but I agree with you. This is a very strange change in football. Nobody cares about watching games anymore. Everybody just wants highlights anymore. It's this new culture, this quick dopamine and nothing else, basically. And it's unbelievable. You're right. You're completely right. And I feel myself trapped sometimes as well. Like I remember like 5 years ago, I was just watching the game. Now sometimes I just take out my phone and do something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
While the game is running,
I get that a little bit, but I think you do get like that when you watch a lot of football. You know,
and we watch a lot of football. That's the problem.
If you just watch one game a weekend, you would find that you probably.
And it depends also if you're watching it alone or not. Because if I'm watching it alone, this happens pretty regularly and often. But if I watch with friends, probably you're right. Then you don't actually need it because you have somebody to talk about the game and everything.
Yeah, but it's like your fifth match of the weekend, and you've got 3 teams that are dead, and you've only got a goalkeeper in this match, or something. Okay, then you're probably not paying it much attention.
Like holy shit, for real. Like, oof.
Trust me, I'm football poor over here, and this weekend I went to watch the women's football Canberra United against it was Newcastle Jets, so the level of here, and I was like 100% in the game, involved. When you don't watch enough football, that's what happens to you. When you finally can get a live game not at 5 a.m. or 7 a.m., then it becomes your life again. So you're in the right place, having too many games to watch at the right time.
Yeah, man. Like Saturday is crazy. Like boom, 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 every hour, boom, 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 boom. If you want, like even I sometimes now I just say, okay, just watch 3 games in the weekend because it's got too much. Like, but I can't. Like, and it destroys football a bit for me as well. So some weekends, like I just say, okay, for sure, I watch the Bayern game. I always watch the Bayern, and I always watch the Milan game. And then there's also like 3 other highlight games in a way. So you're already at 5 games a weekend. You know what I mean?
Rapid. It happens so quickly. Like my kind of routines, like in general, like talking about the highlights and stuff. See anything I can't watch. When I come in here on a Monday morning, I'll go through like all the big leagues in Europe, and I'll just stack a YouTube playlist of all the highlights. And then it's freezing in here as well first thing in the morning, so I'll turn all the heaters on and then keep my jacket on and just watch all the highlights for about half an hour, just try and see all the goals and all the stuff that's kind of went in for the most part. And like even when I'm doing that, I'll be like 10 highlights in, and then I'll pick my phone up, and then I'll just like answer a message or something, and then I'll be like, oh, what even happened in that match? Like, I missed the whole highlights, I can't even stay tuned into the highlights for 2 seconds because like of running on all of them, and then it's like, oh fuck, what video did I miss? And try and watch that again. And
like these highlight shows don't exist anymore, like really. Like I remember as a kid, like I always watched the highlight shows, like, and then you showed all the games of the game week on Monday, and then wow, Ronaldo, and it's crazy. That was crazy. I remember. That's how I also fell in love with football as well, because then that's how I saw all the games from Serie A and all the games from La Liga. I never watched at that time. I didn't watch Premier League, but because I couldn't have as a kid. I didn't really watch Serie A as much because it was quite difficult for me to access it, because especially if you have to ask your dad, can I have this record and blah blah blah, and your dad doesn't really like football, so that's a bit difficult. And but we had then Sky and everything, and then on Sky they showed all the highlights on Monday and then Tuesday. And every time me and my brothers, we were just watching the highlights on Monday night, like for 2 hours, and they just showed every game the highlights. Like I watched the highlights of every game. That was amazing.
Aye. Like, I think on Amazon Prime, you can get like the little La Liga highlight show, but it's really hard to find. It's not like, so it's like, you can watch it when it's live, but it's hard to find a repeat of it, like Match of the Day. If you go on BBC iPlayer, you can watch Match of the Day whenever you want. With the La Liga one, it's very hard to find. But then on YouTube, no one puts that TV show on YouTube. They just put 2-minute highlights because that's what people will be searching for, and that's what will be clickable. So you just end up with lots of 3-minute highlight videos everywhere. There's no like you say, Fedo, it's not the show where it's like you'll get a wee bit of flavour. Hopefully that's what we give you guys if anyone's listening to this. But like, you know, the player that came in, the manager that's on the shaky nail, or that kind of stuff, you miss that because it's just a wee 2-minute highlight. You don't even see all the dodgy decisions either. You might see like the big VAR decision, but you don't maybe see some of the stuff that happened like you used to.
Ragazzi, we didn't talk about the goal of the season. Garnacho's goal.
Oh.
Holy moly. Have you seen that goal?
Yeah, I've seen it.
What did Piers Morgan say? The second best bicycle kick in history or something like that?
Holy moly. That
was
goal.
nice. That was nice.
It was nice. But was it that good? Was it that good? Like,
to be able to go and get it that high, I'm
it was
impressed.
that good, Quinny. That was absolutely
amazing.
I think it was better than Ronaldo's one against Juve.
No.
Sure.
It wasn't better than the Ronaldo's ones.
No. It was better, but Ronaldo's one was way more important. That's a difference.
I think Ronaldo's is higher and is vertical. Whether Garnacho
But Ronaldo is like,
Rooney
I
and
think
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo's one. Oh no, the craziest one was from Zlatan against against England. I think.
Yeah.
Something like that was
40 yards out.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was the craziest ever. Like, okay, that was probably number one.
Ian's got a great nomination as well. Kiar's got a belter of a bicycle kick as well.
Yes, yeah, true, yeah. But oof. But
which one was the one that they talked about?
18 years old, you do that, not bad. Did you know that Messi apparently doesn't follow him?
That's funny. I don't blame him.
Even if they play in the same team and everything?
I don't know. Look at he's a dweeb.
Or he unfollowed him. I think he even unfollowed him. I think he followed him for a time and then he unfollowed him when he said that his idol is Cristiano.
I think this wee Garnacho guy, I've seen wee clips of him and stuff like that on social media. He strikes me as a wee pain in the backside. Like, if you know what I mean, like a wee, I don't know, maybe I'm judging, you know, but I mean, like generationally, like if you're Messi and you're like 35, this wee guy at 19 is probably not on the same wavelength as you in a lot of sense, if you get me. So that's what I mean when I say that. It's like, it seems
what
like
Messi did at 19 was out of this world already, you know? And he's just starting to start for United. Not even a sure starter yet. But I don't want to hate on him because I actually like him as a player. And I think he has quite a bit of talent, to be honest.
I've been saying all season on this show, I think it's clear that Ten Hag loves Garnacho and he loves Anthony as much as I think that Anthony one's maybe now rode its course. But he's going to do everything he can to get Garnacho into this team. And overhead kicks like that are only going to help him. So we might start to see a bit of a consistency come SO5-wise from Garnacho.
I'm actually super excited. There's one game I'm actually excited to watch today at 6 p.m. United Galatasaray. Amazing game to watch, to be honest. Lads, if you have nothing to do, I'm gonna have something to do. But on the nice wee bit of iPad on my left, I'm gonna have the game basically because I'm actually excited. Especially Rashford is suspended, so Garnacho's gonna start for sure, and I'm really excited for that.
Well, it's do or die for Man United, isn't it?
Yes.
Welcome to hell. I'll be at
Galatasaray. Nana, I watched the Everton United, by the way. I watched that game. And I watched Spurs Villa on Sunday. Those two games I watched on Sunday after I went to the city. Onana, holy moly. If he wants, he can be a superb keeper, like for real. Like he kept Manchester United 3 times alive. And it's a wonder that Everton didn't score, like for real.
Huge score.
And Heung-min Son, this man is always offside. He can't not be offside. It's unbelievable.
There's somebody else I was looking at the weekend that's always offside as well. Who the hell was it?
I think he scored 2 goals offside, to be honest.
Was it Son? Oh, yeah, I did watch this game. It might have been Son. I may be agreeing with you, actually.
Yeah, it's Son. Like, unbelievable. By the way, Diego Carlos, is he the starter now? Because I like him a lot as a player. and he was
No.
injured.
I think they want Mings to come back in. I think, and
Mings
I
has
think
ACL.
So what they kind of, of course, yeah. So he's out for this, but so I think there'll be maybe a signing in there. So sometimes what happens is it's Konsa or Torres, or if they want to put Cash into right mid, they'll play Konsa right back, and then Carlos comes in. But it's mainly
But they paid
Dina.
60 mil for Carlos. You know that, right? They paid 60 mil.
But he's just not been getting in.
And he was injured.
Like, yeah.
It's just when he came back, basically. He was injured before, so we can't really judge. I'm not sure. I actually don't hate Carlos, also because I won him, but I think he was class at Sevilla. And Emery does like his Spanish past players.
Yeah, agreed. But I say it seems to be anyway, whenever I've looked at Villa, you're only going to get Carlos in the team if Konsa's at right back. And if Konsa's at right back, they're normally being a bit more defensive. Sometimes that means Cash is at right back, but we've seen it somewhere else here. I think maybe Bailey was on left mid, a right mid for one of them.
How did they play in the Conference League, in the Europa League? Because I know that he played there always. Yeah,
so he's played against AZ, home and away, I think. Yeah.
Konsa also on the right. So Konsa basically plays every game, basically.
Yeah, they love Konsa. I think he may have been suspended for this game or maybe injured or something. And in the other game, yeah, he started right back, Konsa.
Holy moly. Yeah.
They love Ezri Konsa. He's really developed a little bit this year. I've not seen too much of him, but he's played every game like we've noticed. And like I say, Aston Villa fans tell me they love him.
It's also crazy that a guy like Pau Torres, who's very highly talented, like, of course, now you can say he did everything right. He's top 4 Premier League. He plays for an amazing club with a lot of prestige. But you probably would have imagined a guy like Pau Torres going to a club like FC Bayern Munich, Juventus, PSG, or Real Madrid instead of Aston Villa. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's taken a wee while to hit straps since coming in. I think it was January, wasn't it? Or no, was it? Oh, it was summer. He came in the summer.
He came in the summer, yeah. He played for Villarreal the whole season last season. And he did good. And I know that Juve wanted him for sure, but then apparently they decided against him.
Couldn't afford it.
Yeah. Maybe on the books they couldn't have afforded. Probably they could have, but they couldn't have done it because of financial fair play. But everybody seems to be able to dribble around it, except Serie A clubs, basically.
Yeah, like it does feel like Serie A spend the least amount of money generally, except for if it involves Lukaku. If Lukaku's involved in the transfer, then Serie A clubs can spend all the money they want.
We love Lukaku. We love Lukaku. Did you hear what Lukaku said? Or what
recently, no.
His dad of Lukaku said? Lukaku is probably the second best striker in the world after Erling Haaland. There's nobody else who can do the same job as him and Haaland.
I would accept top 5.
I can think of 2 or 3.
I would accept top 5 as a base of an argument, but not top 2.
Yeah, but top 5, even top 5, then you don't play at Roma. I no disgrace to Roma. I like them, but
yeah, but nobody else wants to bet on him anymore.
Nobody
good one year and not good the next year. Like, who wants to pay that much money for a player like that?
Like, you have to understand how much they don't like him. That Inter decided against him and bought Thuram, who I thought wasn't as good at Gladbach, just that they didn't have to buy Lukaku, basically. Unbelievable. Yeah, we love our Lukaku in Italy. He's our man. Which is very strange because we hate Mario Balotelli, and they're basically I think Mario Balotelli is even more talented, but he is a bit done in the head, basically.
Harder to deal with. Yeah.
Yes, but yeah. So basically, same personalities and or same type of striker, and we love Lukaku and we hate the other one.
I love Balotelli as well, but
yeah,
I seen a comment from him. He got in trouble in the last week. I think he got pulled over for drink driving again within the last week. But I think like the week before that, he said, if I got fit, I'd be the best striker for the Italian national team.
And I wouldn't actually disagree with him, to be honest.
But when I heard that, I thought, oh, maybe he's going to try. Maybe he's going to try, you know, and got me a wee bit excited. And then it was like a week later, done with drink driving again. He's been caught drinking and driving around Brescia again, even though he's not fucking in Brescia.
Like, there's so many ways to talent in Italy. It's unbelievable. Like, Mario Balotelli, what this kid could have become. Like, holy moly. this kid could have become on the Olymp of soccer, or even Cassano, and he played at Real Madrid. Cassano had such a level of talent. Like Cassano was unbelievable. Cassano was Flo Wirtz good as talent wise. You know what I mean? And look what he did with his career.
Yeah. Got a little mini Quinny in with me today. Sorry, guys. So if
I would actually, if he scores if he scores 20 goals with Adana, I think Spalletti has to nominate him, like for real, because he is the striker they need. He is this type of striker, you know. And Moise Kean can't seem to do the job. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's get Super Mario back fit.
And I don't think Moise Kean is a bad player, but like talent-wise, Mario is just, I'm sorry for saying it, but he's ducked in the head. Nothing else. Like, you can't say anything else.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, I think that's probably all we've got time for. Thanks for all for joining us, guys. Thanks to everyone that's joined us live for this one. Fist bump to you as well. For anyone that caught the show after we've been live, thanks a lot for supporting the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And yeah, while we're going through this kind of wee reformatting thing, we're trying to catch in some news, some transfers, and go over the stuff we're catching over the weekend and maybe what's yet to come. But again, my off topic, but my prize for winning the MLS special comp arrived today, and it's a beauty. Lovely. Looking forward to seeing that on Twitter from SR Monkey.
Yeah.
So lovely to hear, lovely to see. And yeah, thanks a lot to everyone that's joined us. And yeah, get your suggestions in the comment section for anything you'd like to see featured on the show, and we'll do our best to get that involved. And yeah, have a great game week, and we'll see you next time. Jeremy, Fedo, it's been a pleasure.
See you soon, boys.
See you soon.